The Great Barrier Reef is edging towards intensive care. Fish are dying en masse in the Murray-Darling, and Australia is one of the worst in the world when it comes to deforestation. So what if nature itself had a way to fight back? Let's say it's the year 2100. Bad news if you like seafood or sailing, because fish have ingested too much plastic and the ocean is a garbage dump. It's the tragedy of the commons. Because nobody owns the ocean and everyone is welcome to it, people, companies and countries can use and abuse its resources as much as they like. The result is that eventually we run out or trash that resource, and everyone loses. But what if the ocean itself had a way to fight back? Across the world, courts are seeking to avoid that scenario by granting legal rights to nature. It sounds far-fetched, but the concept of giving a legal voice to something that can't speak for itself isn't actually that radical. Corporations are a good example of that. Even though they're not human, they have the same rights as people. That's why you can sue McDonald's and it can sue you. The Whanganui River in New Zealand is legally a person, and it can do the same. In 2017, it was granted the same rights, powers, duties and liabilities as you and me. Its legal guardians include a representative of the Whanganui tribe. The ruling was so significant, not just because it was the first river in the world to be recognised as a person, but because it was the end of a 170-year-long battle for the recognition of a sacred relationship between the Indigenous people and the river. There are variations of this across the globe. In 2008, Ecuador became the first country in the world to enshrine legal rights of nature in its constitution. Bolivia passed a similar law in 2011. Rivers in Colombia and Bangladesh have rights, and even the US, a country that loves a lawsuit, has granted Lake Erie in Ohio legal rights. That lake was in such dire condition it made drinking water toxic, so now anytime it's polluted, a resident can sue on its behalf. It seems like a pretty good idea, right? But it does come with some complications. First, taking nature's case to court will come down to who can afford it. In Ecuador, a non-for-profit sued a construction company on behalf of a river, and it won the case. Success! Except the company ignored the ruling and the NGO reportedly didn't have the cash to keep fighting the case in court. Second, making a river legally a person and giving it the power to sue also means the river can be sued in return. For example, if the Fitzroy River in WA was considered a legal person and it flooded, people around that river could take it to court.
That's a live issue that's really worrying. So how's the river going to actually pay damages? How are they going to pay compensation?
They're great questions, and the legal setup of this is yet to be fully tested. And third, this is not a one-size-fits-all kind of solution. It may have worked in New Zealand or Ohio, but that doesn't mean that turning nature into people is the only way to protect it. And some of the very people you'd expect to back this trendy new law in Australia don't think it's really necessary.
We're running away from Indigenous belief systems instead of embracing them.
Dr. Virginia Marshall is a lawyer and Wiradjuri Nyambwa woman who's thought a lot about the legal rights of nature.
Instead of legal personhood, we need faith in Indigenous peoples and faith in our Indigenous systems of law.
That means rather than invent a new legal construct for our relationship with nature, we could go back to an ancient one and reinstate land management systems that have worked for tens of thousands of years. If that can provide the same level of protection for nature without exotic legal fixes, then why not just do that? So the case for turning Australian rivers, lakes or forests into legal people might sound appealing, but the case against it is actually stronger.
Hey, if you enjoyed that, make sure you subscribe to The Feed's YouTube channel.
And you can watch these videos here. See you next time.